Cruising in a polished '7 Chevy was a rite of passage you never forgot. The engine's deep purr vibrated through the car's chrome fins, the smell of leather seats mixing with summer night air. Teens rolled down Main Street, windows down wide, hair blown back, as Buddy Holly or the Beach Boys blasted from a giant AM radio that felt more like a throne than a gear shift. The car wasn't just a ride, it was your freedom. An open-air stage for flirtations, loud laughter, and the unmistakable thrill of endless road ahead. Headlights cut through the dusk, tail fins gleaming like jewels beneath street lamps, while couples shared secret smiles and groups passed around unopened packs of cigarettes, jumping to the beat. Fast forward to now. You tap a ride-sharing app, your fingers swiping through a screen where cars come and go instantly, their engines silent, their colors pixels on a map. The romance of the slow roll, the music blaring into the night, faded away into efficiency. You don't own the car. You don't really drive it. Instead, the driver behind the wheel is a stranger, ferrying you from one precise point to another, headphones snug, eyes mostly on the road, barely a nod for a backseat chat. Freedom has become choice, the quickest route, the cheapest fare, the convenience of a few taps and minutes waiting. But with that convenience gone, the poetry of the ride, the slow hum of an engine your own, the feeling that each mile was yours alone to own. The classic car cruise left a mark, a longing for a slower, louder kind of freedom in a world now moving too fast. The scent of sizzling ground beef mixed with onions and a hint of ketchup. That was the true aroma of home in the 1950s. Mom's molded meatloaf with flour-dusted hands pressing in chopped bell peppers, or a surprise raisin here and there for a touch of sweetness. Loaves, snug in glass Pyrex pans, slid into the oven, the gentle hiss promising comfort and warmth. The kitchen timer wasn't just a tool. It was the heartbeat of the evening ritual. The entire family circled the dinner table, passing heaping plates, the crusty ketchup glaze shining under the kitchen's warm overhead light. Fast forward to today, the oven often stays cold. Instead, you tap a screen, and a buzzing motor delivers crispy wings or sushi rolls in minutes. Or maybe you unwrap a colorful meal kit, following step-by-step instructions with pre-measured portions and fancy sauces you'd never found in Grandma's pantry. It's all about speed, options, and convenience. The ritual condensed to swipes and timers on phones. But amid the chatter of Bluetooth speakers and delivery drivers, something slips away, the smell of creation, the hands-on kneading, the subtle joy of waiting together for a familiar recipe to finish baking. Today's meals promise ease, but often lack the soft, persistent echo of love baked in an oven's warm glow. Meatloaf wasn't just dinner, it was an unspoken bond, a slow dance of flavors and family stories. The clatter of takeout containers might replace that, but sometimes, just sometimes, you can almost catch a whiff of that old kitchen magic. The bell rings sharp and clear, and suddenly the classroom empties like a shaken box of marbles. You step outside to an open world painted with chalk-drawn hopscotch grids, skipping ropes whipping through the air. The sun warms the cracked blacktop, and laughter bounces off aging brick walls as kids leap from square to square, their sneakers squeaking and hearts racing. It's a symphony of childhood freedom, a blend of scrapes, cheers, and bell-ringing echoes. Nearby, groups form a circle, spinning jump ropes, fast enough to challenge even the best jumpers. Some clumsily bounce and break, but the game never stops. The playground is your stage, your canvas, your realm beyond desks and pencils. Fast forward decades, and recess wears a quieter face. Today, many kids unzip backpacks not to toss out jump ropes, but to pull out tablets or phones. Remote learning has blurred the lines. School bleeds into living rooms, and screen time often replaces running time. The outdoor roar is swapped for the soft click of keys and the muted tap of apps. Hopscotch grids exist in digital form or vanish altogether. Even the fresh air freedom feels more contained, more scheduled, less spontaneous. This shift paints a bittersweet picture. While technology links us globally, the tactile, muddy thrill of hopscotch slipping between fingertips becomes a memory fading toward silence. Childhood play now balances on the thin wire between screens and open skies, inexorably changed, but still longing for that hop, skip, and jump. Remember the comforting glow of a single black and white TV screen radiating in the living room? Families would gather closely on a plush couch, sharing space, snacks, and laughter. The antenna atop the TV desperately scrounged signals for the next episode of I Love Lucy or The Twilight Zone. Commercial jingles filled the breaks. Campbell's Soup, Alka-Seltzer, catchy and familiar, binding the family's evening ritual together. The TV was a communal hearth, an island of shared stories where everyone's attention converged at 7 p.m. sharp. Mom knitted, Dad cracked a joke, while you whispered plot guesses to your sibling. The social fabric was woven tight by the scheduled broadcasts, a fixed appointment with connection that no one missed. Flash to today. Streaming services spill endless libraries onto handheld screens, laptops, even smart fridges. Each family member curls separately into their favorite series or YouTube obsession, pausing, rewinding, or binging on their own terms. No more waiting for the broadcast bell or agreeing on a single channel. Infinite choices bloom from Netflix to Disney Plus to Amazon Prime. But what's lost in this mirage of freedom? The shared giggles during commercials, the collective gasps at cliffhangers, the simple joy of watching a single story unfold together. The family TV set may be gone, but the ritual endures, reshaped by solitude and screens, yet still echoing a human desire to connect through stories. Next, the scent of freshly baked Wonder Bread and how it defined school lunches across America. In the heart of the 1950s, home stood a rotary dial phone mounted boldly on the hallway wall. Your fingers would glide into the circular holes, spinning that heavy dial with a satisfying rhythmic click. Each revolution was a small ritual, a tactile dance that connected you to distant voices through a journey across wires and switchboards. The ringing bell wasn't just noise. It was a communal call to gather, to stop whatever you were doing, and be present. Neighbors passed messages. Families caught up, secrets whispered, all anchored by this simple mechanical device. Fast forward to today. The smooth screen of a smartphone slips into your pocket, a world of apps, text bubbles, videos, and endless notifications at your fingertips. Instead of waiting on a call, you scroll, swipe, and tap through instant connections, with no dial tone or ringing bell to signal pause or presence. The tactile feeling has shifted from rotary clicks to sleek digital touches, a constant stream of pings that pull your attention every second. Conversations unfold in bursts of emojis and GIFs, often in separate rooms, disconnected, even as they stay connected. The solitary ring of the rotary phone marked an era of deliberate connection, slower, but deeply shared. Today's silent notifications echo isolation, a reminder that proximity doesn't always mean closeness. The phone evolved from a household centerpiece to a personal portal, reflecting how technology shapes not just communication, but the very feel of human connection. And somewhere in between the spinning dial and the glowing screen lies the story of how we reach out and the spaces we create between us. The unmistakable clang of a gas pump handle hitting the metal stand, the scent of hot asphalt mingling with freshly brewed coffee from the station diner. This was your pit stop during a cross-country road trip in the days before satellites and touchscreens. Picture yourself walking inside, grabbing a paper map from the rack, folded and creased from past adventures, eager to trace your route with a pen. Friendly chatter with the station attendant, swapping tips about the next town's best pie or a quirky roadside attraction. Postcards lined the shelf, postcards you'd send home, their glossy images promising memories to come. These stops weren't just about fuel. They were about community, pause, and anticipation. Contrast this with today's streamlined reality. Your GPS recalculates your path instantly after a missed turn, guiding you with calm robotic patience and voice prompts. Those paper maps have become souvenirs, replaced by sleek satellite views on your phone. Instead of gas pumps, electric vehicle chargers buzz quietly, making you wait, not for grub or a chat, but for your battery to juice back up. The road feels less like a stage for spontaneous adventure and more like a route efficiently optimized for time and energy. While technology promises safety and sustainability, something essential changes. The romance of the open road lived in the unpredictable, the human connection sparked at a neon-lit pump, the thrill of unfolding a map and deciding where next. The future's horizon glows softly with innovation, but the heartbeat of travail pulses strongest still in those gas station moments. The unmistakable creak of wooden desks lined up in perfect rows, each scarred with carved initials and forgotten doodles, sets the scene for classrooms long past, the air thick with chalk dust, that powdery scent clinging to kids' fingers and the edges of clothes. Teachers wielded sticks of chalk like wands, scratching out equations, poems, and history timelines across the wide blackboards hanging at the front. Sharp chalk tips clicked and scraped, each lesson a tactile ritual, every erased word a small cloud of white mist dissolving into memory. Fast forward to today, where classrooms hum with a different tune. Matte laptop screens glow under the soft buzz of fluorescent lights. Smart boards respond to touch and stylus pens, transforming static lessons into interactive experiences. Click, swipe, tap, gone are the chirps of chalk on slate, replaced by the clicking of keys and digital pop-ups. Students' desks no longer creak but stay solid and sleek, often accommodating multiple devices, headphones, and charging cords like lifelines. The classroom is a portal to endless information, but also a digital distraction maze. The magic of the tactile classroom, chalk-stained fingers, the groan of desks shifting, real-time teacher presence at the blackboard has faded. Yet, in this glow of blue light and virtual engagement, educators and students navigate new challenges, focusing their minds amid endless digital noise and seeking human connection in pixels. Each era teaches in its own language, but sometimes you miss the chalky touch of simpler schooling. Next up, the lunchroom bell rings, and with it, memories of cafeteria trays and paper menus await. The scent of freshly baked meatloaf fills the kitchen, the ticking of the analog clock punctuating the calm soundtrack of a 1950s home. The housewife, apron snug around her waist, orchestrates dinner with practiced ease, balancing a casserole in one hand, a laundry basket perched nearby, while her children's laughter bubbles from the living room. This was her domain, a carefully prescribed role where identity merged with homemaking. She was the heart of family life, the guardian of routine and order, the ultimate symbol of post-war American ideals. Magazines and TV shows reinforced this vision. Women were happiest in spotless kitchens, their worth tied to home and hearth. Fast forward to today, where the apron often gives way to a briefcase or laptop bag. Women juggle careers stretching into the night, college classes on weekends, soccer games squeezed between meetings, far from the comforting predictability of the 1950s kitchen. With newfound freedoms came heavier burdens, the expectation to excel everywhere, the guilt of leaving dishes undone or missing a bedtime story. The social fabric rewove itself, blending work and family in complex, often exhausting patterns. Yet both eras share a core truth. Women shape the rhythms of daily life, whether through carefully folded laundry or painstakingly negotiated office politics. The transformation isn't just about careers. It's about identity, resilience, and the ongoing quest for balance. Tomorrow, we'll step into the world of 1950s childhood play, where imagination flourished in backyards and unstructured afternoons. Remember the 1950s icebox? A sturdy wooden cabinet lined with tin nestled against the kitchen wall, its cool heart supplied by hefty blocks of ice delivered by the iceman twice a week. The air inside smelled faintly of damp wood and melting frost. To keep butter cold, you tucked it deep in the box, wrapped in wax paper, while leftovers sat under glass plates. No hum of compressors, just the occasional drip of water pooling in the tray below. You'd hear the ice clink in the tray, a daily comfort that meant your milk and eggs were safe for another day. Jump to the early mechanical refrigerators, those bulky metal beasts with a buzzing compressor, cooling behind a clunky door gasket. By the late 50s, General Electric's models had neat features like an ice cube tray with a twist lever, a luxury to the mid-century family. Food felt fresher. No more daily ice deliveries. Still, they were noisy and power-hungry, but magical appliances nonetheless in any home. Now, your kitchen sports a sleek stainless steel fridge packed with quiet, energy-efficient tech. Inside, built-in cameras track groceries, alerting your phone when you're low on milk or eggs. Touchscreens suggest recipes based on what you have. No icy drips, no Iceman calls, just silent, smart convenience. The fridge even learns your habits and adjusts temperature zones for perfect storage. From wooden boxes cooled by ice blocks to intelligent guardians of freshness, these machines tell the story of how food preservation evolved alongside our busy lives. Less daily hustle, more effortless care. Next, the hum of electric fans in summer kitchens, and how they battled heat one breeze at a time. Unfolding a paper map was never just about navigation. It was a tactile adventure. Those giant folded sheets, creased perfectly into pockets, sometimes torn at the edges from use, smelled faintly of ink and fresh paper. You'd trace your finger along highways and back roads, circling the routes where you'd stop for gas or a roadside diner. Before setting off, you'd mark your path with a pen or pencil, a personal road map sketched onto cotton fiber. Every fold and crease told a story. Road trips started around the dashboard spread, voices hushed in concentration while your navigator struggled with the folds and symbols. The rustling of the map was a soundtrack, a physical connection to the journey ahead. When the map flipped down strange byways or dead ends, you learned to adapt, improvise routes on the fly. No recalculating by satellite, just your instinct and that paper guide. Contrast this with today's GPS, smooth glass glowing with real-time updates and voice directions. Traffic jams? Instantly rerouted. Missed your exit? Calm, friendly prompts get you back on track. It's effortless navigation, sleek apps like Google Maps and Waze's guiding every turn, every lane change, every detour in real time. But there's a loss, too, that tactile unfolding, the human error, and the mystery of the unknown. That adventurous spirit gets filtered through algorithmic precision. The paper map inspired patience and exploration. Digital maps deliver speed and certainty. Still, sometimes you miss the charm of creased paper, the smell of new ink, and the thrill of charting your own course. Next up, the mixed smell of vinyl seats and old gas as we ride through American highways of the past. Saturday afternoons once meant the thrill of the matinee, a parade of kids clutching pennies and folded comic books, eyes wide with anticipation. The big marquee lit up the neighborhood, promising 2 reels of adventure and laughter. Inside, the familiar scent of buttered popcorn washed over the crowd as you found your spot on the worn velvet seats, sharing whispered jokes and candy wrappers with friends. Before the feature film began, flickering black and white cartoons teased the screen, laughter popping like the kernels in the giant metal kettle. The whole theater seemed to pulse with shared excitement, a communal ritual where stories and dreams were passed around like a treasured secret. Flash forward to tonight. Cozy on your couch, remote in hand, you browse endless streaming menus. Selecting a movie takes seconds, and with a tap, the screen glows in the dim room. Maybe you watch alone or with a few family members snacking on whatever's in the pantry, rather than cued concession lines. The world of cinema is as vast as ever, but that collective buzz? It's quieter, fragmented across screens and headphones, where once the matinee connected neighborhoods, now movie nights are slices of solitude or small group comfort with instant access replacing anticipation. There's something undeniably magical about those Saturday afternoons, shared moments, real-time reactions, the hum of an audience caught in story magic. Tonight's luxury, choice, and convenience. But sometimes, when the credits roll silently in your living room, you might find yourself missing the chorus of kids' laughter echoing through the dark theater. You slide a crisp sheet of stationery across the desk. The faint scent of lavender from the paper perfumed your fingertips. The scratch of your pen is deliberate, each word carefully chosen, a personal treasure forming with every stroke. Days later, a letter arrives, folded, worn at the edges, a physical token of your friend's thoughts and time. You can almost hear the postal truck's rumble trace the journey on its faint postmark. Waiting becomes part of the ritual. Anticipation wraps around the passage of days like a melody. Flash forward. A screen glows blue, fingers tap lightning fast. Hey, got your MSG? Instant messages, ping and buzz, conversations unfolding in real-time bursts. Replies are immediate. Emoji reactions fly, but the words grow shorter. Fragments of thoughts, rather than whole reflections. The handwritten letter's intimacy seems lost in this deluge of digital chatter. The layered textures of paper ink, even the smudge of a tear, are replaced by pixels and fleeting notifications. Yet something lingers, a quiet nostalgia for waiting, for the slow gathering of thoughts before pressing pen to paper. In rushed messages, emotions can feel shallow, connections momentary. The art of letter writing, once a beacon of patience and care, remains a ghost, reminding us that sometimes depth requires distance and silence before sound. Even now, a carefully folded letter feels like a whisper from the past, inviting us to pause and savor presence amid the fast scroll of today. Step inside a classic 1950s diner, where the hum of the jukebox blends with clinks of chrome stools and the rich aroma of malted milkshakes. The friendly waitress knows your name, sliding a frosty glass your way topped with a generous swirl of whipped cream. Conversation flows easily over shared fries and thick burgers in red vinyl booths lit by nin glow. This was more than just a meal. It was a community pulse point, a daily gathering spot for gossip, laughter, and small-town ritual. Fast forward to today's urban sprawl, and the familiar diner charm fades into rows of coffee chains and fast food franchises. Order is placed on a touch screen or at a slick counter, speed prioritized over lingering. The cozy booths replaced by minimalist decor, where strangers sit silently with earbuds in, glued to screens. Your double-shot latte arrives in a disposable cup, quick and convenient, but cold on familiarity. The old soda fountain, mixing malts, phosphates, and sodas by hand, now lives on as a nostalgia play in some hipster cafes, but lacks the warmth of genuine hometown connection. While convenience is king, something intangible slips away, the slow ritual of community bonding over shared taste and stories. That comforting glow of the neon diner sign still flickers in memory, a beacon for simpler, unhurried times. And as the coffee chains hum a new tune, you can't help but wonder what got lost in the trade between comfort and efficiency. The rhythmic slap of wet clothes against a washboard was once the morning soundtrack. Housewives knelt by the galvanized tub, soaking, scrubbing, and rinsing each stitch with determined hands, making laundry a tactile dance of muscle and care. Outside, a heavy wringer machine demanded two strong arms to squeeze water from fabric, leaving clothes damp but ready to be hung. Clotheslines stretched wide across the backyard, strung with white sheets, starched shirts, and faded dresses fluttering in the sun and breeze. The sun's heat baked out the last dampness, while the scent of fresh linens perfumed the air. Neighbors often exchanged greetings through wooden fences, and children chased each other nearby. Laundry day was also a social rhythm. Even the rustle of fabric on the line had a soothing, comforting familiarity. Today, the manual grind has softened to a whisper. Modern homes boast sleek washers and dryers, churning through loads with effortless buttons and cycles designed for every fiber type. Your phone can summon a laundry pickup app at the tap of a screen. No scrub brush, no line drying, no sagging arms needed. The clatter of machines replaces the splash of water, but the rhythm feels different, quicker, less intimate, tied to convenience, not connection. What's lost beneath this ease? The slow attention to each garment, the hands-on ritual that linked fabric, water, and sunlight in an unhurried pact. Clothes remain clean, yes, but the story of care is gentler now, folded in silence, absent the warm, tactile labor that once filled doorways and skies. Sunlight spills gently across the formica table, where a family circled the breakfast nook, an island of warmth in the morning chill. Crispy strips of bacon sizzle faintly, the smell mingling with the sharp sweetness of freshly squeezed orange juice dripping carefully into delicate china cups. Your mom flips eggs with practiced ease, the quiet chatter filling the cozy kitchen like a comforting melody. Plates clink softly, a lazy start embraced without rush. This ritual was the day's anchor. No one dashed off before tearing through a meal thoughtfully shared. Fast forward to now. Mornings blur in a restless scurry. The breakfast nook often remains empty, a dusty relic as kitchens morph into quick pit stops. A protein bar pockets effortlessly alongside a half-sipped coffee tumbler becomes the new breakfast. The sizzle of bacon replaced by the beep of an espresso machine or the swipe on a smartphone screen scrolling through emails. This hurried routine robs the start of its pause, a swift kick into the day without the solace of shared smiles or steaming mugs. When did we trade slow, intentional mornings for speed and convenience? That peaceful, unhurried breakfast nook, once a haven of connection and calm, now seems a distant snapshot. Yet, in fleeting, quiet moments, you might still crave that lingering first bite, the warmth of everyone gathered, starting the day not just fed, but truly present. Next, we'll revisit the afternoon ritual. The ritual of after-school snacks and the simple joy of shared secrets over freshly baked cookies. Sunlight poured over cracked sidewalks, where marbles clicked against pavement and laughter echoed from every corner. Kids sprinted in wild games of tag, their feet pounding like a heartbeat across the neighborhood. The crack of a wiffle ball hitting a broomstick bat in stickball was the unofficial soundtrack of summer, mixing with cheers and shouts that carried for blocks. Imagination ruled the streets, cardboard became castles, chalk lines turned into finish lines, and every tree was a fortress or a safe haven. Streets were social nets, where friends made and stories grew under open skies, the hum of cicadas fading only when twilight pulled families indoors. Contrast this with today's scenes, children clustered around glowing screens with fingers tapping pixels, voices muted but eyes wide, entranced by digital worlds. Tablets and video games replaced neighborhood adventures, offering vivid quests but lacking grassy knees and wind-blown hair. Backyard escapades are rare. Indoor playgrounds of code and virtual reality dominate. Though screens connect distant friends, the spontaneous shouting chorus of a pickup game has quieted into chat bubbles and emojis. The boundless outdoor freedom that shaped generations is now a nostalgic dream, a contrast that stirs both wistfulness and worry. What's lost in this trade-off is more than just fresh air and sun. It's the spontaneous camaraderie, the reckless creativity seeded by dirt and grass stains. Next comes the story of school recess halls and a fading art of playground diplomacy, where childhood social skills were honed beneath the open sky. The sound of stiff shoes crunching on the mailbox gravel marked the mailman's arrival, a daily ritual you never wanted to miss. His satchel was heavy with letters, postcards, and sometimes a brightly colored catalog promising treasures. You'd peer out the window, catching that moment when he stepped up your porch, handing over bills that made you groan and handwritten notes that brought smiles. Neighbors would pause, exchange waves, maybe share a quick word. Mail Day was a small social event, a human thread woven into the fabric of routine. Contrast that with today's relentless ping of incoming emails, instant and invisible, drowning your inbox with promotion statements and digital chatter. Physical letters, once eagerly awaited, have shrunk into rare tokens from friends or family nearby. The charm is gone, replaced by the sterile click of delete or archive. But packages tell another story. Couriers arrive with efficient timing, dropping off boxes sealed with slick tape and tracking codes. No doorstep chat, just a brief exchange or a nod captured on camera. The romance of surprise mail replaced by predictable, scheduled deliveries, controlled by apps and algorithms. The human rhythm of waiting, the anticipation, the shared little moment at the mailbox has dissolved into a cold, transactional dance. We've gained speed and convenience but lost something intangible, those brief pauses to connect, to know someone was thinking of you, enveloped in paper, stamped with a distant hand. Now, the mailman's footsteps are quieter in memory, as digital buzz becomes the new mail call. Picture that metal lunch tray clicking onto the counter, a steam-tinged meal sliding onto its molded sections. Hot meatloaf, glistening with brown gravy, sat firm beside a fluffy mound of mashed potatoes, buttery and smooth. The fluorescent-lit cafeteria buzzed with the clatter of trays and murmurs as rows of identical meals made their rounds. Children in the 70s and 80s knew exactly what to expect. No questions asked, no choices offered. But that standardized meal experience came with its own rhythm, a universal lunch hour where everyone ate meatloaf and spooned sweet wobbly jello from a tiny cup. Fast forward to today, and the lunchroom landscape has transformed completely. Instead of metal trays served by the cafeteria, many kids arrive with packed lunches, bustling in colorful thermoses and reusable containers. No more kyorekis fits-all shimasa menus. Now lunches are personalized, shaped by dietary needs and parental know-how. Nut allergies have reshaped school policies, carving out peanut-free zones. Gluten-free bread lines the shelves alongside dairy alternatives. Lunch might include a kale salad, quinoa bowls, or organic fruit snacks, thoughtfully assembled to meet evolving nutrition standards and allergy safeguards. The noisy lunchroom chatter is quieter, often peppered with reminders and label checks rather than uniform breakfast-like rituals. What was once a shared, uniform meal is now a mosaic of tastes and textures, reflecting the cultural shift toward health consciousness and food awareness. The old cafeteria trays hold memories of simplicity and sameness, but today's lunches tell a story of care and adaptation. Next, we'll open a lunchbox from decades past to see what the classic brown bag carried inside. You could hear the rumble of the family station wagon idling at dawn, packed to the rafters with suitcases, a cooler, and the unmistakable scent of fresh coffee brewing in the thermos. The front seat was a battleground for the map holder, that heavy vinyl foldout sprawling across laps, the one your dad obsessively checked every 50 miles, tracing the black lines while Mom read aloud from the itinerary scribbled on a yellowing notepad. Back then, the road was a shared adventure, full of animated debates over which scenic detour was worth the extra hour, and sing-alongs crackling over AM radio waves. The crumpled paper maps, marked with faded ink and coffee stains, were the family's treasure trove of discovery. Each turn an act of trust and teamwork, weaving memories into summer air. Now, travel often means a solo flight booked from your phone, with instant notifications guiding each step. Check-in, gate changes, baggage claim. The tactile thrill of unfolding a map replaced by swipes and GPS pinpointing, every route optimized, every detour unnecessary. Apps handle reservations, directions, and recommendations in real time, a personal travel assistant whispering through earbuds. The journey condenses to the moment of arrival, efficient but stripped of communal hesitation and laughter. In trading the station wagon's crowded camaraderie and paper maps for solo strolls through digital guides, we've sacrificed that slow unfolding of place and presence, replacing shared voices with silent screens. Road trips weren't just about the destination. They were about the family, the stories, the imperfect maps leading the way. Remember the satisfying pop and scratch as your fingers lifted the plastic sleeve off a vinyl 45 RPM single? Those little discs, about 7 inches around, cradled your favorite hit song on one side and a surprise B-side on the flip. Your journey would begin at the record player, big and solid, a ritual of slotting the needle onto the spinning black disc with delicate care. The unmistakable crackle of vinyl filled the room, each imperfection adding warmth and soul to the music. Flipping through boxes at your local record store, the vibrant cover art caught your eye. The Beatles' Shkibu, She Loves You, Presley's Jailhouse Rock, or maybe Motown's Finest. Listening was a tactile experience, lifting the arm, flipping the record, even the subtle hum and slight warbles that made every play unique. Music was slow, deliberate, and precious. Fast forward to today. You pull out your smartphone, tap an app, and your customized playlist streams instantly. Millions of songs all accessible at your fingertips. No warm crackle, no needle drop, no album art to physically hold, just endless songs on demand. The joy now is algorithmic, playlists curated by data, mood, or occasion, but stripped of the sensory intimacy that came with each vinyl spin. Where once you learned patience, rhythm, and anticipation, now music is background noise, infinitely replaceable and instantly forgettable. Yet, that tactile, crackly magic of records reminds us, sometimes music is more than sound. It's a ritual, a tangible link to shared moments and memories. Next, we dive deep into the snack aisles of yesteryear, when packaging was art and every bite told a story. The buzz of clippers at the kitchen table, the nervous giggles as Mom or Dad wielded scissors like a novice artist. Home haircuts were a family ritual, born from necessity and love. The sharp scent of rubbing alcohol and aftershave filled the air, as the barber carefully hacked away at uneven strands, sometimes leaving that unforgettable uneven chokehold around the ears. No fancy lights, no mirrors with 360-degree views, just one overhead bulb, and an old chair in the living room. The entire family watched with a strange mixture of dread and anticipation, knowing the reward was a fresh haircut without the salon bill. Fast forward to today. Sleek salon studios glow with neon signs and heated chairs, where professionals sculpt and style with precision tools you couldn't imagine a home cutter wielding back then. The luxury of chemical treatments, blowouts, and expertly blended fades is just a booking and a credit card swipe away. But then there's a new frontier. YouTube tutorials and Instagram hairstylists breaking down pro techniques into bite-sized clips you can follow step by step from your bathroom mirror. Video guides transform the home haircut from blind trust into a DIY art form, wielding styling shears that cost more than some fathers paid at budget salons. Yet, the charm of home haircuts, its closeness, the spontaneous laughter, the imperfect memories, still outshines all luxury and convenience. Somewhere between cracked mirrors and glossy tutorials, the story of cutting hair is really a story about family, hands trying their best to shape familiarity amid change. And as you dust off those old scissors, the next clip plays, inviting you to the evolving world of self-styled identity. The shrill clang of a rotary dial alarm clock was the battle cry of waking life, a sharp mechanical insistence that yanked you from sleep like an old-school boot camp sergeant. Sitting on your bedside table, those bulky clocks, often branded West clocks or Big Ben, did more than track time. They pounded it into your brain with their relentless ticking and that iconic twin-bell hammer. You'd slap the snooze lever and it would gleefully erupt again in 9 minutes, a tiny act of rebellion against morning chores. The clock's weight, the winding key turning with a satisfying click, even the faint smell of thermoplastic from decades-old dials, all fixed a moment in time, brutal yet comforting. Fast forward to today. Instead of harsh clang slicing through dreams, your phone's gentle chime, or a smart speaker's melodic tones ease you awake. Perhaps your bedroom lights brighten gradually, mimicking a soft sunrise, nudging you toward consciousness with kindness rather than force. Alexa or Google Assistant may wish you a good morning, adjusting music, weather, or the coffee maker, all choreographed for seamless calm. The rigid alarm bell has ceded to a curated start, reflecting a modern desire for control and comfort over time's tyranny. In this shift, the alarm clock story isn't just about gadgets. It mirrors our evolving dances with time itself. From the loud tick marking every second with urgency, to a gentle glide into day, we've softened the edges of waking, trading clangs for whispers. And in that quiet, perhaps, we rediscover mornings worth savoring. The blast of cold water from a garden hose was summer's sweetest relief. Kids lined up along cracked sidewalks, laughing as sprays misted over sun-baked skin, clothes clinging to sticky heat. Nearby, an open fire hydrant gushed free, a makeshift fountain where neighborhood children splashed and dove with abandon, squealing as water cooled flushed cheeks. Squirt guns were acquired treasure, weapons in epic water battles under blazing sun, while parents stood close, towel in hand, savoring the ritual of community cooling. That sharp, chlorine-tinged water smell mingled with the scent of fresh-cut grass and sun-warmed pavement, an aroma tattooed on childhood summers. Fast forward, and many of those summer afternoons have migrated indoors. Air conditioning hums a chill monotony, cutting the heat, but also the spontaneity. Now, children flick nimbly through digital worlds on tablets or handheld consoles, pixels replacing splashes of water. The tactile thrill of soaking wet skin, the surprise of a sudden chilly spray, replaced by glowing screens and silent thumbs scrolling. Neighborhoods buzz less with real voices, more with electronic beeps and game soundtracks streamed through earbuds. The garden hose thrill, once a shared sensory joy, is a relic, fading into hours of curated digital play. Yet, looking back, the simple rebellion of cooling off beneath an open hydrant wasn't just about heat. It was childhood in mess and motion, wild, wet freedom that screens can't replicate. Remember those late nights wrestling with scissors, glue sticks, and brightly colored construction paper? The scent of Elmer's glue mixed with the faint chemical tang of old poster boards was the essence of school project time. Your fingers might have been sticky, covered in glitter or paint, but there was pride in cutting out photos just right or handwriting labels with your neatest cursive. You could see every brushstroke on the hand-painted title, every smudge telling the story of sweat and effort. The tactile feel pressing down on glued photos, waving your project around for approval, made the achievement almost physical. Fast forward to today. Presentations beam from glossy screens, slideshows accelerated by slick transitions and embedded videos. Your words are typed, fonts chosen with a click. Spell check saves you from misspellings, and clip art replaces the glue-smeared newspaper clippings of old. Digital tools streamline research, but that smooth polish sometimes erases the messy, intimate human touch. Presentations can be dazzling but impersonal. Flashing animations can't quite replicate the warmth of a handmade poster taped carefully on a classroom wall. The shift reveals a trade-off, handcrafted charm versus streamlined efficiency. You used to carry the weight of your project like a badge. Now, it's a file, light but fleeting. What we lose in fingerprints and glitter, we gain in immediacy and scope. But sometimes you just miss the smell of glue and the thrill of crafting something totally your own. Up next, the quiet magic of homemade lunchboxes in the shadow of fast food frenzy. The rustle of newsprint fills the room, that unmistakable sharp scent rising as your family gathers around the kitchen table after dinner. Pages unfold like treasure maps, delicate but full of stories waiting to be discovered. Your mom folds the sports section with practiced skill, while your dad clips the evening headlines, saving the articles he wants to reread later. The evening newspaper was more than information. It was a shared ritual, the heartbeat of family connection. You'd pass sections back and forth, shouting out a startling front-page story or chuckling at the comics page. Fast forward to today. No more newsprint rustling or clipping scissors. News flows endlessly like a waterfall on buzzing smartphones and glowing tablets. Everyone's feed is unique, tailored by algorithms that know your interests. But gone is the family circle poring over one physical paper. Instead, each person scrolls, taps, and swipes through snippets, memes, and breaking headlines solo, often distracted by notifications pulling attention elsewhere. Conversations fragment as everyone digests their own personalized versions of reality. The communal pulse of news, once a unifying daily moment, has fractured into countless private streams. The transformation from collective reading to individualized scrolling reflects a shift not just in technology, but in connection itself. The family newspaper was a shared story. News apps are a fragmented, nonstop monologue. And in this fast chaos, sometimes you can almost miss the slow comfort of folding pages and shared gasps around the table. The summer sun spills gold over cracked asphalt, where your street transforms into a buzzing hive of chatter and clinking paper plates. Fold-out tables groan under baked beans, fried chicken, and Aunt June's famous potato salad, garnished with just the right sprinkle of paprika. The smell of charcoal mingles with the sound of a transistor radio spinning Motown hits. Smiles stretch wide as kids chase each other between lawn chairs and sprinklers. Your neighbors, once faces seen only in passing, now share stories, laughter, and a sense of belonging that nothing online could quite replicate. Fast forward, and the block party is pixelated, replaced by group chats, forums, and social feeds. Your community exists in notifications and emoji bursts, where typed LOLs stand in for belly laughs. Online, connections spike rapidly, spanning continents in an instant, yet they lack the sticky warmth of a past casserole dish, or a friendly hug when holiday cheer flows thickly. Virtual planners coordinate events you attend from your screen, avatars swapping gifts instead of handshakes. The digital realm expands communities beyond geography, but often shrinks them emotionally. Still, there's something sacred in both. The block party's sensory richness, the scent of summer, the brush of a neighbor's elbow, shared smiles under string lights, lingers as a treasured memory. Online communities offer unprecedented access, drawing loners into conversations and building bridges across divides. They amplify voices once unheard, even if the laughter sometimes feels hollow. In the dance of then versus now, the heart remembers tactile warmth while embracing the vast new world in our palms. The clink of glass bottles on your doorstep was once as familiar as morning bird song. Every day, rain or shine, the milkman made his rounds, a friendly figure weaving through neighborhood streets with a horse-drawn cart or a rattling van. That glass bottle, cool to the touch, carrying fresh cream and farm-fresh goodness, was more than a container. It was a daily connection to local farmers, a tiny ritual anchoring families in time and place. Your mom would tuck $1 inside a designated bottle before sunrise, and by breakfast, a new full bottle replaced the empty one, glossed with dew or frost. Contrast that now, a hurried scroll through glossy supermarket aisles or tapping your phone app to reorder milk alongside an entire week of groceries, instant, impersonal, and detached. Grocery apps bring convenience but lose the warmth of a familiar face and the sound of wheels stopping just outside your door. The ritual of greeting the milkman, sharing a nod or a brief chat, has evaporated, and so has the reassuring rhythm of daily deliveries that held communities together. Today's milk comes refrigerated, plastic-wrapped, farm unknown, stacked in aisles instead of carried in baskets. The intimate service of a diligent milkman has succumbed to bulk buying and digital convenience. Beneath this shift hides a broader story, the mellow fading of personal commerce into faceless transactions, where human connection gives way to efficiency. But just for a moment, can you hear that distant bell, the clatter of glass, feel that ritual's simple grace? The world moved on, but nostalgia stubbornly lingers. The gentle rag swirled around the toe cap, the soft brush tapping rhythmically on worn leather. Morning light streamed through downtown storefront windows as a young shoe-shine boy knelt confidently at the curb, a wooden box of creams and brushes his kingdom. His hands worked with care, coaxing a gleam from scuffed Oxfords and tired loafers that told the stories of a hard day's walk. Customers paused to chat, sharing neighborhood news, while the rich scent of saddle soap and polish mingled with dawn's crisp air. The shoe-shine boy wasn't just polishing shoes, he was polishing pride. Flash forward to today, the rituals transformed entirely. Sneakers, once just casual footwear, now command collector's status, crowned with colorful laces, pristine midsoles, glowing logos. Rather than a shine, DIY sneakerheads dismantle and deep clean their kicks with specialized kits or leave them untouched, flaunting the authentic, worn-in look. The polish bottle has been replaced by apps tracking release dates and resale values, and street corners with boutique stores and pop-up sneaker galleries. The vulnerability of leather, cracked by daily wear, has shifted to engineered materials designed to self-clean or endure the elements. What was once a humble trade, steeped in neighborhood conversations and tangible care, has morphed into a sprawling culture of both deliberate neglect and obsessive maintenance. The shoe-shine boy's personal touch now echoes in the painstaking preservation of sneaker rarities or the casual swagger of scuffed canvas, each telling a new story about identity, style, and belonging. The savory aroma of roast chicken, slow basting on a Sunday afternoon, wafted through the house. Grandma's Hauptsache silver gleamed beside bowls of mashed potatoes and green bean casserole, classic staples that turned a mere meal into a weekly ritual. Extended family crowded the dining table, chairs scraping lightly as laughter mixed with the clinking of glasses. Sunday dinners were more than food, they were sacred pauses, where stories flowed and bonds deepened over shared plates and multiple refills of gravy. Fast forward to today, the ritual has loosened its grip. Families trade the formal feast for casual dining or the comfort of delivery apps, bringing everything from pizza to Thai food right to the doorstep. The clatter of takeout containers replaces the coordinated setting of fine china, and conversations happen in the cozy buzz of a bustling restaurant or over glowing screens waiting for delayed couriers. This shift speaks volumes about how life's speed eclipses tradition, yet connection endures in new forms. The warmth of a roast chicken dinner lingers as a memory, but now gathering often means sharing a meal wherever everyone is, not necessarily at the same table. Technology and convenience redefine togetherness, teasing apart what's essential in family time, ritual or simply presence. The Sunday dinner's slow, deliberate feast may have been replaced by quicker bites, but the hunger for connection remains. Next, we'll taste a snack of nostalgia, the buttery crunch of mid-century potato chips and their rise as an iconic comfort food.